Our next story is from India. And in the society that we live in, it doesn't take a lot of effort to name-call women. There is always a whirlpool of assumptions and stereotypes that women face pretty much on a daily basis. But when this happens within the walls of a courtroom, then it can have a much greater impact. And the judiciary, the Indian judiciary, is now trying to put an end to this. Now, India's apex court has released a new handbook for all judges. This is meant for the judges. The list contains 40 words that have been red flagged. The Chief Justice of India, Chandrachud, has said that these words actually further gender biases and stereotypes. So let's take you through some of these words and expressions. Like, for instance, a career woman, a seductress, woman of loose morals. None of these expressions will be allowed to refer to a woman. Everyone will have to be referred to as just a woman. With the same motive, any unwed mother will also be referred to as just mother. Eve teasing is a term that has now been replaced by street sexual harassment, because that is what it actually is. And there's also nothing that's called forcible rape. This term will now be referred to as just rape. And the word prostitute is also not acceptable to be used inside of a courtroom anymore. The person will be referred to as a sex worker. Now, the idea behind this complex issue is fairly simple. Now, it is believed that any person, even a judge, may hold stereotypes. So if a judge relies on preconceived assumptions about people when writing judgments, then this could seriously harm the credibility of such rulings. But if the language were to be corrected, then the hope is that the intentions will also fall in line, which is why this handbook has now been brought in place to ensure that the judges, while passing the judgments, do not resort to these names, which could very well be stereotypes. Now, India is not the only country that is trying to fight gender stereotypes. Many countries within Europe, for instance like Denmark, Norway and Germany, have introduced laws to bring women and men on par with each other in terms of how they refer to. The EU has also brought in rules on pay transparency, and the United States has announced an executive order to combat gender-based discrimination. Now, combating gender stereotypes is crucial in any space. At home, this could of course mean equal distribution of chores, and it would also mean equal distribution in terms of work and the income that is brought in. In workplace, it could of course lead to pay parity. And on social media, it may, one hopes, put an end to wife jokes or husband jokes which proliferate the internet. Now, for India, judiciary is just the start line. The country, of course, has a long, long way to go before these gender biases and stereotypes are in fact overcome. And now, to give us more perspective as to why this change and why this rule book was so important, we're being joined in by Ms. Mrinalini Deshmukh, who's an advocate at the Bombay High Court. She's joining us live from Mumbai at this point of time. Now, Ms. Deshmukh, this is an important step that's now been taken. This is a style book that's been introduced. But tell us, one would expect that within a courtroom, we would have expected that the judges, when they would be writing their judgments, would be fairly well aware of the terms that they would be using and also the stereotypes that they may have perhaps, used without even perhaps meaning that they were being used in that sense. Tell us why this is such an important step in bringing about gender parity within court rulings.
Good evening, and I think this is one of the landmark steps that has been taken by the judiciary and under the able stewardship of Justice Chandrachud, who has always believed, and he has been a champion for gender equality, giving all the respect and dignity to the women, whether in the four walls of the home, at the workplace, or even in the way they are addressed. So I think that is one step that he has also translated his intent into action. Now, the reason why the particular situation has arisen and why there was a need felt that there should be a handbook for the judges whilst addressing women with these different connotations that you just read out a few of them is basically because some of the judges in some of their judgments, and without naming anybody or any particular region, tended to be a little patriarchal and a little very not very gender neutral. And that is why there was a need that was felt that no judge uses a terminology which he may believe it to be in a certain way. For example, a judge may have been raised, or he may be, because all these are all individuals coming from all over the country. So he may be raised in such a manner that a woman who has a relationship outside marriage, while she's a married woman, is committing adultery. What is wrong in calling her an adulteress? So that would be a natural thing for some of the judges to think about it. At the same time, as somebody who is a slut or a whore, as we call, as it used to be called, is someone that's what she does, and that is what her job is, and that's what we are calling her. So today, there needs to be a decorum, a dignity, and a way a woman is addressed. There are situations we do not know why a particular person or a woman is taking that kind of a stand. Number one. Number two, and more importantly, it is not even to demean the kind of work that she is doing. For example, you may have seen in some of the cases that a lady who was not working was earlier known as a housewife, and it was not in a very respectable manner. Today, we do not use the word housewife. We use the word homemaker. What is that difference? Does it mean that she does something different once she becomes a homemaker? No, it adds a lot of dignity and grace to the kind of work that she's doing. And she's contributing to the family without being paid for it, without expecting to do it, but doing her job to the best of her ability with a lot of grace, kindness, and warmth for the family. Similarly, this kind of a statement it will also set into motion the thinking of all concerned, not only the judges. I mean, today the judges have to use it, but suppose tomorrow, as a lawyer, if I use one of these, some of these, words which tend to be a little misogynist in their way, or some of them which are obviously not gender parity, then I think I will also be, as a lawyer, attuned to address women with the same kind of dignity that the book, which is the handout, which has been given by the Chief Justice of India. I think it's indeed a great step and a giant step in bringing dignity to the women, especially in the past when we had the mindset which was extremely patriarchal. Absolutely. And very male dominated. I think that's a big step and a big dent to that kind of a mindset.
I think you've summed it up really well. Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Deshmukh, for joining us and getting us all those insights there.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.